Yeah, it's me. Well, back here with Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. We were stuck last time, I just recalled. There were a few different Cyclock things that we had yet to do. There was one in the detention center. We couldn't do Kristoff's in the cell. We also have one on my guy here. And I believe we tried presenting everything to everybody, so there's not anything that we could be missing present-wise. And I'm assuming the ones that have check marks mean there's nothing else we could glean from them, so we don't have to go back. Sort of what makes sense to me. Nothing we could show to anyone that would be helpful. Which means we're just missing something with one of these Cyclock things. Let me just get back into the headspace here. It may be that this takes us a little time to figure things out. Okay, right. I believe he was asking if we had any proof of what Valent or what Magnifi was holding over their heads, but let me just try and break that Cyclock anyways. Wait, never mind, that's not the, whoops, you have to hit the Cyclock button. The Megatama button, I should say. Let's give it a try. Head back into where I got stuck before, because we must be able to do one of them, and it sort of makes sense that you would do all the ones in the past first. Oh man, I have no health. If I have proof of this danger, show it. Gone. Bang. Guns are dangerous. It was Trucy's mom. Yes, shot her. She stands in the middle. Look at the thing. Stamp. All right, this was the last one. There's one thing you're failing to address. What that? As you say, our troop was a world unto itself. If our leader, Magnifi, was so inclined, he could hide anything he wished with ease. But, Mr. Wright, then he would have hid a crime, making him an accomplice. Not a great foundation for blackmail. Valent's got a point. If one of the troop members died in an accident, and Magnifi covered it up, his innocence would come into question. Find the right address, Mr. Wright? I'm so close. There has to be something about how Talassa's death could affect Zack and Valent's relationship with Magnifi. I see it in your eyes. You still have something to say. How can you possibly prove more than you already have? I'll prove why Talassa's accident if I tied your hands so completely. Alright, I had to choose a person or evidence. I think it has to be a person, because they don't usually give us this choice. We already tried saying Apollo, right? What if Apollo was his child? I didn't try Trucy though, did I? But I can't think of any other person that would, do it. Oh, wait a minute. Talassa is Magnifi's daughter, so maybe I should just present Talassa and be like, she's his daughter, of course he had that over you, and he was miffed. I'll try that, and then Trucy, and maybe my brain will explode, if they're both wrong. With a person! It's going to take a little knowledge of the players to crack this one. The accidental death of Zack's wife tied both of your hands, and this information proves why Magnifi held so much power over you, because she was his daughter. It wasn't a question of who shot Talassa. Talassa herself was the problem. Okay, we did it! Haha! Great. I just needed to take a little time away from it, and then my brain kicked back into it. When we were at the end of that last episode, I was like, my brain had like already spilled out of my head and was already all but spent for that day. What do you mean? She was Zack Gremory's wife, Trucy's mother, and Magnifi Gremory's only daughter, so maybe Trucy would have worked as well. There was a terrible accident, and the two of you killed your mentor's only daughter. If that wasn't the key to Magnifi's power of you, I don't know what was. It was an accident! Well, I mean, yeah, we knew that. Unlock successful. Health back. Sweet. Blackmail. Do tell. There's no proof, none at all. But Talassa went missing, and your mentor blackmailed both of his disciples, and you also just screamed like a crazy person when I mentioned it. It doesn't take a genius to put 1 and 1 together. Or even 2 and 2 if you were so inclined. Ours was a complex family. You mean Troop Gremory? The master, Magnifi Gremory, his only daughter, and his 2 disciples. It does sound like a recipe for disaster, doesn't it? Do not be tempted into faulty flights of fancy. Yes, there was an accident, but that is all it was, an accident. Zack and Valent's tour de force. The guns blaze, the bullets fly, straight toward that beautiful body on stage. Ew, what? Don't say that, ew. And then, crash, sing, pow! Everything but her. Now that is magic. It happened one day when we were practicing. Same trick with a new twist. And tragedy. Irk. But as for whose bullet stole Talassa's life, we shall never know the answer. Talassa disappeared from our lives, and Zack was bereft of his wife. Trucy lost her mother, and Magnifi his daughter. And that led to blackmail, I take it. It is all part and parcel of the darkness that comes when the curtain falls. Is that right? Darkness. Interesting that was another... Darkness was also a big thing with, Le Miroir. I wonder why there's a few themes that show up here. Maybe it's just a thing of, like, there were enough words for it in Japanese that it wasn't repeating the word darkness. Maybe it's just a localization thing. Why did Magnifi Gremory try to cover up the accident? It was his own daughter who died. All I can say is it was a critical time for Troop Grummery, a passing of the torch from Magnifi to Zack and Valent. We all sacrificed so that it might be a success. Thalassa's death was the greatest sacrifice of all. Yet, even when her life was extinguished, her presence was not. What do you mean, Trucy? In time, myself and Zack, found we could no longer oppose Magnifi's wishes. Magnifi forced us to perform his art for his benefit. I see. I guess I can understand. I mean, he did lose his only daughter. But do you not find the cowardice in his actions? Huh? Sorry, my voice legitimately broke there. I was not trying to put that so high. Huh? To decide to hide the truth of your own daughter's death is one thing, but then to hang that death as a guillotine above our heads! Things were dark behind the scenes in Troop Grummery, that's for sure. Does Trucy know? She was not told. Naturally. Who would want to know that their father might have taken their mother's life? True. I had not thought of that accident for a very long time. I'm sorry to dredge up old memories, but this has helped a lot. Not to find Magnifi's slayer, I should think. True. After that accident, there was one who came sniffing quite persistently. Sniffing, I think. Spark, maybe? A reporter? He called himself a newsman at the time. Often I spied him lurking about the dressing room, doing his research. Would you happen to remember his name? Was it Brushel? Did he have weird teeth? What is his name? Sorry, I've forgotten. But in the course of his interviewing, he became quite close to my partner, Zack. I liked him not. I see. His name, I do not recall, but his scent, the cloying aroma of mint. Yes, whenever he smiled, which was far too often. I concur, I see. Thanks for your help. It does no good to interfere with the past, Mr. Wright. You will not uncover answers, only wounds. I'm sorry. I had begun to notice a dark curtain hanging over Troop Grummery, and I began to realize what I had to do. Yeah, because Valent didn't really like Spark Brushel in the future. He, just the mention of his name would, traumatized him. I had to protect Trucy from that darkness. The reporter he mentioned. The newsman. I never learned who that was at the time. So not never, but you did not learn who it was at the time. Though I've gotten a pretty good idea of who it is now. Its smile and the sickly sweet smell of mint. It isn't sweet. The last floss-thin thread connecting Zack Grummery to this world. Sooner or later, I'd have to track him down. Alright, so I think that places us with all the past ones complete. Although I still don't really know what to do with Zack in the present. Although that unlocked us a new present-day area. Ah, Drew Studio. Oh, both of them. Oh, great, okay, well. Gonna want to head to these two first, because we've pretty much combed these as well as we could for the moment, I think. Sunshine Coliseum, why not? Present day, as Phoenix is again, I assume. Sunshine Coliseum. Hey, there's Mr. Valent. Well, this is a blast from the distant past. Long time no see, Mr. Valent. 7 years has it been? Frankly, I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Actually, I came because of something I wanted to ask you. I've spoken to the press. I've nothing more to say. I've spoken to a lot of people myself, and come to some conclusions. But then I realized I needed to hear it from you. Ah, yes, let's do the hearing now. After I look around things. You have a show in a few days, don't you? I don't think I've ever seen a hot air balloon so close. It's a favorite of mine. I've often thought of how to use it in one of my shows. Perhaps for the climax of Valent's Quickjaw Shoot'em returns. I stand on stage, I shoot, and the hot air balloon is pierced. It explodes! What do you think? Thrilling, yes? I don't think you want to pull out that particular trick again, even after 7 years. A little, I guess. But no one inside the Coliseum would be able to see it. Bravo. It took me 4 days of planning to realize that. That sure is a big sign. Yes, it's a favorite of mine. Impressive, isn't it? I considered using it for one wall of my house when the show's over. Wow, your house is that big? Actually, as fate would have it, I currently live in a one-room apartment. But following the wild success of my show, I intend to build a luxurious mansion. I was torn over just how big to make it, until that sign whispered the answer to me. That's really beautiful. He lied. Sunshine Coliseum, was it? I'm not sure it actually qualifies as a coliseum, but it's a great forum. Yes, it is a favorite of mine, as most things in this room appear to be. I've always been fond of Sunshine. Speaking of which, have you heard what happened here recently? Oh, yeah. Something about something going on during some concert. He said as though he didn't. Actually, I guess he wasn't really involved with that one as much, was he? Exactamundo! I see no reason to hide the fact that I, too, was involved in that case. Well, that's something. Did you help solve it? Ha! What do you take me for? No, I merely serve to deepen the mystery. That's obstruction of justice. I'm a magician! It's my sworn duty to create mystery wherever possible. Actually, he did help solve it, though. He gave us the tape. Look at the blue badger over here, still handing out balloons. A man in a costume is handing out balloons to the kids. It's nice to know that kids still like balloons, somehow. They're a favorite of mine. Balloon sellers, that is. I would have them join me on the big stage. They could hand out balloons to the children in the audience. Wouldn't all those balloons get in the way of seeing your show? Bravo. The possibility had not even occurred to me. Phoenix Wright, entertainment consultant. Very well, enough of examining the scenery, the beautiful Japanese countryside that's in the middle of the city. Let's talk. Manaphy Gramarye. I have walked a difficult road these past 7 years. Because he couldn't perform Manaphy's repertoire? Do not be deceived. Valen's skill is the real deal. I do not require my mentor's hand-me-downs. No, it was my partner who showed me on my way. Zach Gramarye. His rather well-performed disappearing act 7 years ago was the end. Or so I thought. Zach Gramarye murdered our mentor and fled to escape punishment for his crime. You said something to that effect 7 years ago, didn't you? I remember it as if it were only yesterday. Yet that was not the way of it, in the end. For while he vanished, the suspicions upon my own person never did. His partner Zach vanished to protect him. That's what those thieving magpies of a press said. I had no idea. Yet that very same press comes to me now, feigning interest, I bet you refer to. Brushel now, yes. Kinda getting his nose everywhere, isn't that guy? His big, twitchy nose. They cover the greatest magic show in history as if it were a vaudevillian distraction. I have no idea what that is. And here must I stand, smiling at them all. What am I if not a player in some fiendish farce? Might I suggest it's because you never made it clear what happened? Manaphy's death is still a mystery to this day. Which is why I came here to get the answer from you. Oh wait, that was Phoenix. Sorry, which is why I came here to get the answer from you. Oh, only 2 locks. I knew I'd be seeing these sooner or later. Well, that's a little better than before. The audience has no business stepping up on the stage. They must be content to sit and stare at the spotlight. That sounds an awful lot like something I heard 7 years ago. Alright, well, let's unlock it. Or let's try anyways. What are you hiding about Manaphy's death? Ask what you will, you'll get nothing from me. I'm as much a part of this affair as you are now. I have to know what happened. For 7 long years, I have endured. Now, finally, the curtain lifts on my new golden age. All the miracles of our troupe within my grasp. Sorry to do this, Valent, but right now I need answers. I think I'll start by dropping a bomb. That should shake things up. Valent, I wouldn't be so sure about those miracles. Not as long as I have this. I assume he's referring to this. Take that! And what might that be? I see it bears the Gramarye seal. I should have brought this to your attention sooner. But I didn't imagine you'd be planning your comeback quite so fast. What is this? A document showing the true recipient of the performance rights to Manaphy's miracles. What? Zach Gramarye, he wrote this? What? He passed everything to his daughter! Juicy Enigmar. Actually, she's officially my daughter these days. Preposterous! Zach is gone! Vanished into the void! This is the genuine article. Zach was alive when he wrote this. Both myself and the notary can testify to this. Yes, sorry. I'm afraid they're not yours. Why? Why does fate toy with me so? Why must my life be lived in thrall to the dead? You're not the only one with that problem. But he shot Manaphy. Yes, it was Zach. It was. That's not what you said before. And then he left and... Oh, wait, no. That is what you said before. I thought they were said Talassa. My bad. And then he left and my career as a magician fell into darkness. Did you think there might be some way out of it? Say, if you could prove Zach Gramarye shot Manaphy. Was that why you testified? Yes! My way out. It should have been my way out. Well, it might not be too late, Mr. Valent. All you need is a way to prove your case. Who really killed Manaphy Gramarye? Well, I don't know that. God, that's important. Moreover, I don't have any, I don't have evidence that would prove it. Jeez. Nope, I don't think I can do that one just yet. I may not have enough evidence right now to pull this off. That's definitely where we're ending this, I think. Maybe it's time to do a little more legwork. Because that basically would solve the entire case of the last trial that we just did as Phoenix. I don't really, because I was never convinced that it was Zach or Valent. I felt like there was ambiguity there, that there might have been another player involved. Anyways, no, we don't want to talk here. That's the only talk point we have. I think we have to head to the other one we just got unlocked. Drew's studio in present day. Is Drew hanging around, though? No, well, he's dead, actually. Unless, or how present day is this? How far back is this? I kind of forget.
Eh? Well, what do we have here?
Remember me?
Of course I remember you. Journalist meets ex-attorney in bar, end quote.
Can I ask what you're doing here? Mr. Misham was poisoned and his daughters...
Oh, yes, I know. Oh, how I know, yes. It's caused me no end of grief, to be honest. Journalist wishes he tracked down case just a little quicker, end quote.
Were you on the trail of this case the whole time?
Zach Grimmery was a good friend.
Zach said something to that effect back at the Borscht Bull Club.
What a character, what a man. If a little, no, a lot, no, extremely rough around the edges.
Do you think I could ask you a few questions?
Oh, you serious? I mean, I'm usually the interviewer, not the interviewee. Journalists ask questions, not the other way around, end quote. Fine, shoot, I don't care. People have been asking me all sorts of things lately.
Alright, let me have a look around this place too. Alright, so this is after he's dead, of course, because the tape is there. Dedoy. This is where Mr. Mishram fell. Never thought our 7-year reunion would be quite like this.
Wait, you knew Mr. Mishram?
I met him once, in court. It was a brief meeting, but one I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Now that's a story right there, that is. I smell a scoop. Ex-attorney now down on his luck pianist plays Sonata of Sorrow, end quote.
Sonata of Sorrow, that sounds like a Castlevania game.
I'm all ears, let's have it. Don't hold anything back.
Could you at least get rid of the down on his luck part? The door outside. Vera might come walking in at any moment, if she wasn't in intensive care. Will she ever come through that door again, I wonder? Ugh, don't say stuff like that, Phoenix.
Not about my girlfriend, damn it.
Those 3 paintings.
I'll choose works, of course. Which is to say Vera's works, really. Or to be more precise, Vera's forgeries of someone else's works. Of course, if you demand utter and total precision. Actually, there's nothing more.
I was about to say. Right, I don't expect we're going to find tremendously important stuff in this, but I may as well have another look around while I can. Let's take a closer look at that desk. Well, don't touch this frame, Phoenix. You're going to die if you do. This frame looks even smaller sitting next to that photo. Just the right size for a commemorative stamp, indeed. A commemorative stamp put there by a daughter that killed her father. Sometimes life just sucks. Amen. A picture of a young Mr. Mishram and a very young Vera. They're smiling. They look happy. Of course, now Mr. Mishram's passed away, and Vera's on death's doorstep in the hospital. Guess I'll just do what I can, and hope it's enough. What is this thing pointing at anyways? I still feel— OBJECTION! I just have to do that when I see this pose. I can't believe it's been 7 years. I have to stop torturing myself with these things. I know! I'll just pretend it's saying something else. The post office? Why, it's right over there. Good day, sir. This envelope's from the client who requested that forgery. Just think, if that had gotten lost in the mail, I'd still be wearing my attorney's badge. Well, but then you wouldn't know the truth, would you, Phoenix? A drafting table. Probably for making detailed designs for forgeries.
You know what I think about that? I'll tell you. Painting should be done freehand. No rules, no restrictions. You really think a line drawn by a ruler is gonna move anyone? I smell a letter to the editor. Could you write an article with a ruler? End quote. Unless you wanted a ruler to write the address on your blackmail letter straight. That's what I think. You can quote me on it too.
You could drop this guy on a deserted island and he wouldn't get bored. Just talking to himself and writing in the sand. That's an odd assortment of equipment to find in a painter's studio. Of course, it makes more sense when you know they were making forgeries. I guess that's why they never took visitors here. Wouldn't really want people seeing all this.
Yes, in fact, I was the first human to ever set foot inside of the studio. Other than Mr. Mishram, of course, and Vera. Oh, and Vera, too. And this assuming that I'm human, of course.
I'm beginning to have my doubts. And I wish that you wouldn't ever say that again.
He's actually a lizard.
Look at all these paintings of jars of paints and pigments. Why are there so many jars of the same color?
My guess is that they're sorted by age.
Age?
When you're making a forgery, it's important to match the age of the original, see? Paint composition changed a lot over the years.
Oh, right. Did you learn that in journalism school?
Journalist relies on writing skill and imagination. End quote.
As long as you don't do news stories by imagination.
Either that, or they just bought a lot of the same color by mistake.
I find myself not caring anymore. You know what? I intensely know the feeling. Let's get to talking about something more important. Family of forgers. It was tragic what happened to Drew Mishram and his daughter.
Forgery is a serious crime, and they paid the price. You know what really did them in, though? Don't you?
Yes. A forged diary page.
The night I interviewed him, I found out something about Mr. Mishram I hadn't known.
What's that?
You know, he always felt like he was being watched. Every day for 7 years. Walls have ears, potatoes have eyes. End quote.
Being watched? You mean he felt guilty?
No, I'm not talking about feelings here.
Huh?
You know, I felt watched too. The whole time I've been on the case, no less. Journalist gets tingling sensation on back of neck, freaks out, end quote.
You're in a constant state of freaking out, my guy, 'cause you felt guilty.
Why would I feel guilty?
You felt like you were being watched, huh? I wonder what it all means. Well, I felt like, Apollo was being watched by Drew. We still don't really know why about that. Paranoia, it's replaced the top one. Drew Misham felt like he was being watched, and you along with him. You sure it wasn't just nerves?
Nerves? No, it's nothing so mundane. I stopped paying attention to my nerves a long time ago. But I felt it too. Journalist is sure he is being watched, end quote.
We gotta get some evidence from these next few talk points, because otherwise we won't have anything to do to unlock anything else with.
Don't you wonder why Zach Armory got rubbed out after 7 years? Right after coming into contact with me? He completely vanishes from that courtroom. Then for 7 years he talks to no one, not a soul. Then, just as the remaining time was almost up, he contacts me in order to have this made.
And then he dies.
Starting to put the pieces together, are we?
And you were being watched this whole time?
Maybe not just me. Maybe you were too.
Me? Man, this voice really takes the breath out of me. Hang on, I gotta catch my breath for a second. It's like the fortune teller in Luigi's Mansion doing the voice just completely, like, it makes me all lightheaded and dizzy. Zach Gremery.
I met Zach through that case, actually.
You mean the shooting of Magnifique Gremery?
No, before that. It's not widely known.
You mean the accident? During the quick draw shoot-'em practice. Well, that wasn't exactly that case, but I guess it sort of relates.
My, you're well informed. You should have seen me back then. I dug up quite the scoop. I wanted it all. Money, fame, women, a little puppy, all for me. I was younger then, and my days and nights smelled of the fresher mint than they do now.
Valen Gremery did mention one particularly nosy reporter.
In fact, I was on close speaking terms with Magnifique Gremery at the time. I knew his daughter too, of course. Talassa, was it?
Really?
Then Talassa disappeared, quite suddenly at that, and Magnifique wouldn't say a word about it.
Yeah,
my evil habit got the better of me. Journalist catches scent of a scoop, goes on feeding frenzy, end quote. I set up a one-on-one interview with Talassa's husband, see?
Zach Gremery.
Something strange was in the air over at Troop Gremery in those days. The whole screwy mentor controlling disciples scene had started by then, I'm guessing. Talassa, she was a part of it all, right? Come on, you can tell me, off the record.
Well, I don't exactly know. Sorry, I don't know. Man, this is probably the longest investigation section we've did because it's very strung back to back.
Anyway, I kept prying and eventually became friends with Zach. Sure, he punched me once or twice, or 5 times, but over time, he came to see me as his confidant.
He always struck me as much more friendly when we met him, but I guess he is a little scrappy or something. Valen Gremery.
He's been waiting this whole time. 7 years, eh?
Waiting.
For his big comeback, of course. A big revival of the Menifee miracle. Of course, it was all a dream.
Because of this. The performance rights.
In the absence of any official documents, he was golden. Who's to say the old man didn't give his rights to both Zach and Valent?
So Valent waited until Zach died. Legally, at least.
The time finally comes, and Valent's like a kid on Christmas morning. He's getting ready for his show at the Sunshine Coliseum, you know. If that document sees the light of day, it's gonna put a bit of a damper on the big show. He's a sorry one, that Valen Gremery. Lost out to his partner at work, and in love, too.
Oh, you mean to say Talassa was his former love interest? I somehow had that in my mind. I don't know why.
Love? It's the same old story, really. 2 disciples and their mentor's only daughter. What has 3 sides and all of them pointy? A love triangle.
Well, a love arrow. Because Zach and Valen didn't seem to have any romantic involvements with each other. That is pretty classic.
When you're in a performing troupe, that's your world. It's like family. One with an entire high school's worth of drama, intrigue, and backstabbing.
And in the middle of all this, Talassa has Trucy. And then she dies. I need to find out more about this Talassa. Oh, okay, interesting. So that didn't give us any new evidence. Perhaps I'll just present a picture of Talassa to him? Anything about this, Mr. Brushel? Do you know about this person?
Do I know that person? Of course. I was friends with Zach after all. He hit me a few times. 5 times, actually. But still, I never forgot his wife. Is that including the one where he punched you in the Borscht Bowl Club? I'd never forget his wife.
Talassa Gremery. Magnifique Gremery's only daughter. Do you think you could tell me more about her?
Well, why the heck not?
Cool, does that give us a talking point then? Heck yeah! Talassa, we need to know.
So, Talassa married Zach and had Trucy, see? It was her second marriage, actually.
You mean she was divorced? I hadn't heard this one before.
Not quite. Her late husband was a performer too. He died in an accident on stage. Tragic, really. They'd only been married 1 year.
I didn't know.
Ah, but she was a beauty. I still carry a portrait photo of her around, you know?
That's exceedingly creepy. It's a nice photo, though. Her earring is sparkling.
I've known Trucy since she was a little thing, too. She got the better deal, really. She's got you for family, after all.
Huh? What do you mean?
Just reminiscing, you know. Talassa has another child besides Trucy, end quote.
What? But Trucy said she was an only child.
Ah, yes. This one she had with her previous husband. Wait a minute, don't tell me it's Apollo. Did I actually guess that right priorly? Her previous husband. Her first husband who died on... Oh, sorry, her first husband who died on stage? Yep, they had themselves a kid. Another orphan now. That's another one who slipped through the cracks. No idea where they are now. Talassa had another child. Think I can borrow that photo? Sure, I can be generous on occasion, you know. Talassa's portrait added to the court record. Interesting. I won't need this locket anymore. Better return it to Trucy before I forget. People and events get all tangled together and get biggerer and biggerer. Don't you think? I was too busy wondering about biggerer to listen to what you were saying. Sometimes you just gotta accept that you won't be able to untangle it all, I think. Maybe so. But still, that's not ever what I do ever. I have to do what I can. And I have to tell what I find to those who come next. Next, you say? I'm not the one who will close the curtain on this little play. Apparently that's not my role anymore. It's Polly. Manaphy. I was just wondering what Manaphy would think of all this. What do you mean? Haven't you seen it in Trucy? The power? She's got his power. You mean how I can't lie to Trucy? It was the same with Manaphy. And with his daughter, Talassa. It's a strange thing. You think it's some Grammary gene? Manaphy told me once back when Zack married Talassa, he said Zack had good eyes. But not good like a Grammary's eyes. Not that good. I wonder if Zack ever played a game of poker with his wife. Who knows what the Grammary's secret was? Maybe nobody, now that Zack's gone. Zack Grammary. Okay, we have completed this, goodness. Plot had finally begun to reveal itself. Hang on, I didn't actually look at the photograph very carefully, because they were talking about before any proof of Apollo's bracelet. We needed proof of whatever, yeah, we needed to prove that Apollo was like not just some greenhorn or whatever, but we needed proof of it. So is the bracelet, was there a bracelet in that photograph just now? I'll have to look in a minute. It sprouted from a warp in the Grammary fabric and grew, swallowing everything, wrapping itself around the Grammary's power. Only 3 little Mason system blocks to go to next. Left, in fact. A power which is passed from Manaphy Grammary to Talassa to the next generation. And I would once again need to meet the one who bridged it all together. Well, not meet. I mean, you already met him in the past, but you just were somehow using time travel so that you know things you didn't when you were first at the Borscht Bowl Club. Don't ask me how that works. Where was it that we needed to prove that, quote, some greenhorn, unquote, had some power? Was it, do we need to prove that to Kristoff? Hang on, let me just look at my... she has the bracelets in the photograph. Yep, okay. I figured that was where that was going. Okay, was it you that we... No, because we couldn't unlock your things, right? Maybe it was Zack we were supposed to prove it to. Anyways, let's give it a try. Whatever we got, I'm sure it'll be enough to unblock his thing now. Although it begs the question, if Phoenix didn't have that photograph at this point, how's he gonna use it now? I mean, I know I'm gonna have it, but like, why would I have it when I got it from Spark Brushel in the future? Is it just like an intuition thing is the idea, maybe? Anyways, the Grammary secret. I have to know more about this power of Trucy's. It's like, right, this is the stuff we've all seen before. There's a link between this and Boy and Talassa. Actually, it's more of a ring. A ring? Perhaps this will refresh your memory. I just so happen to have evidence showing this missing link. It's a photograph of Talassa with the Red bracelet! Take that! Actually, I know something. Your marriage to Talassa was her second. How did you know this? Her first husband. He died a year after they were wed, yes? He was a performer. They met when he had joined us Grammaries as a guest in our show. After Talassa wed him, he left the troupe for a while. And you say she had a child then? I have a photograph of her here. Maybe it said she left the troupe. I couldn't help notice what she was wearing when I first saw this. Those look like they wouldn't be able to get off of her wrists. Those bracelets stand out. Except for the first time I looked at that photograph and I didn't notice them at all. I was looking at her earrings for some reason. They were a Grammary family heirloom. This boy wears a bracelet just like the ones in this picture. What? So, that's why. Why what, Mr. Zack? I took this photograph of Talassa before she left us. When she returned, she wore only one bracelet. I bet I know where that other one went. She gave it to this boy, her son. Trucy and Polly are siblings! It wasn't just it was a wild guess on my part, but it turned out to be based in truth. The Grammary secret. I guess I guessed it a bit because I had heard there are memes I mentioned there, but there are a lot of memes about how Apollo has all kinds of crazy backstory stuff. Anyways, the Grammary secret. Let's have it. This strange power. I do not myself know where it from. I myself do not know from where it comes. Yet the fact that it is passed down the Grammary line. The fact is that it is passed down from the Grammary line. It runs in their veins. What is it? I asked her, Talassa, once. This is what she told me. Her power responds to tension in others. Tension.
If she were to face a person and they became tense, even slightly, then she would know, no matter how hard they tried to hide it from her. So she could see it. Not quite. This is the strangest part of it all. She wouldn't realize that she was subconsciously detecting this tension without the use of a particular object, or in her case, objects. Objects. The bracelets, then. Wait, were they something she wore? Yes, her bracelets. I admit the first time I saw one of those, I felt there was more to it than just fashion. Oh, I guess because Phoenix might not necessarily know that Apollo's power comes from the bracelet. What kind of power could a bracelet have? I have made a decision. I will tell you all I know. Consider it a gift. Oh, yes, please. Oh, Trucy and Apollo. Oh my god, all this stuff. Great. Well, I hardly need you to tell me at this point, but those two are brother and sister, yes. And the brother, too, has this power of theirs. So Trucy has an older brother. I wonder what will come of that. Mr. Wright, tonight, after our game is done, I will return to a life of hiding. I would not see her live her life without knowing. I understand. I'll tell the two of them when the time is right. Oh, yeah, that's gonna be weird, because then Apollo's gonna be Phoenix's son. Sort of. Apollo's kind of self-sufficient now, though, so it's a little different. I understand. I'll tell the two of them when the time is right. I'm in your debt, once again. No kidding. What I want to know is how all this got to be so messed up. The bracelets. Those bracelets are made of a special alloy. It is said to expand and shrink very slightly in response to body warmth. So they're temperature sensitive or something. Yes. This is how they can shrink to the exact size of their wearer's wrist. And this has something to do with the power? What have I told you? The Gramarye power reacts to tension in others. When a Gramarye senses tension, they too become tense. And this tension translates into minute contractions of the muscles. So minute they cannot sense it on their own. They're muscles. Oh, so that's what the bracelets are for. With a bracelet on, one can sense these contractions. Because the bracelet is always a perfect fit. So, when the person they're watching gets tense, the bracelet feels tighter on their wrist. Precisely. But that alone doesn't really count as mind reading. I believe I understand how the process works from there. It's a simple question of eyesight. Eyesight? I guess that sounds simple enough. Yeah, finding the ticks once they know there's something there. Have you ever heard of kinetic vision? Something about the ability to see moving objects with full clarity, right? I've heard of it before. They say athletes can see a moving ball like it was stopped if they focus. Oh, but it's not confined to sports alone. It all relies on the ability to focus. When we focus, we can see many things. The faintest twitch of the face, and the meaning that lies behind it. Therein lies one of the secrets of magic. One must know the mind of a crowd before one may distract it. So basically what you're saying is, the Gramaryes can see really well. For them, seeing is more than believing, it is knowing. Their power relies on eyesight combined with exceptional focus. Things are starting to come into focus for me too. Of course, it is difficult to maintain such levels of focus for any length of time, but what if someone could tell you when to focus? Or something? Precisely. But wait, Trucy doesn't have any bracelets. You are talking about poker, yes? The timing of when to focus is so elementary, she probably does it without thinking. I doubt Trucy herself has realized this. That is all I know. That is all I know of things Gramarye. Thank you, Mr. Zack. If this boy's bracelet is the real thing, then he will use it before long, thereby awakening his power. I'll keep that in mind. Wait. Okay, so I guess he would have seen the bracelet at Kristoff's law office, which is why Phoenix then goes on to specifically request that Apollo be the one who would work on this trial. Okay, I think I understand. I'll keep that in mind. Well, shall we play a game? I've said so much. Let me say one more thing. I will tell you of that night. That night. The night my mentor, Menifee Gramarye, passed from this world to the next, the hospital. Yes, I was hoping he'd say that. There were 2 pistols and 2 letters sent. This was Menifee's test. A test. In his last years, Menifee Gramarye worked us to the bone. No, to the pain. But that night, I could not shoot him. So I shot the clown's forehead instead. Bang! This, it seems, was the correct answer. Oh, right, because it is. The clown doll is shot in the background of this shot. Menifee's voice, I don't think we have any.
Take this. I give my art to you, Zack.
What?
It is thanks for playing along with my show. You shot well tonight, Zack. Though I would not have minded dying by your hand.
How could I shoot you? You're my mentor.
Bah! I thought you might say that.
If I went home without shooting anything, what would you have done then?
Then, of course, I would have given Valent his chance.
And if I had shot you in the forehead instead?
Then it would be over. If you or Valent were to shoot me in the head, then I to the darkness would go, and my art with me. A fitting end, don't you think? Yet this ending too gives me no cause for regret. I thank you, Zack. And I'm sorry. I've done much that was wrong in my day.
What did he give him? He gave him something? It seems to me that Menifee wanted you to be his successor all along. Oh, the rights to the thing. Okay, that's probably it. That's why the time he gave you was earlier than Valence.
Perhaps. But it is not something we will ever know for sure now. I wonder, what is Valent up to these days?
Waiting for you to die. If 7 years pass like this, the performance rights go to him.
Ah. And now here I am, and his dream is ended.
It's worse than that, actually. Public opinion's a fickle thing, you know.
You know? What? You don't mean to tell me they put the blame for Armenta's death on him?
The trial ended when you vanished, Mr. Zack. There were even rumors that Valent had helped you pull it off.
But that's madness! Well, it seems that before I can once again disappear from this world, I have one more act to perform.
Helping Valent clear his name somehow?
Isn't it odd that sorting out my life should prove so complicated, even though I'm dead?
Yeah, it's pretty weird. Oh, that's the end for this one. That night, Zack Gremory was killed. He died as Shady Smith, a mysterious traveler with a secret past. But he left one more thing behind before he departed. This. To whom it may concern, 7 years passed. I, Zack Gremory, murdered my mentor, Menifee Gremory. I apologize for the trouble caused by my sudden departure from court, and hereby confess to my crime. His confession, to use as I saw fit. That leaves a bit of a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not sure I'm happy about him doing that, but until we find who actually did it, I guess this will help Valent, help the living, right? The living. Of course, he'd killed no one. This was his way of tying up loose ends with his old partner, Valent Gremory. Zack's confession added to the court record. Good man, but it's not what I like. But I guess that helps us with the Sunshine Coliseum, where Valent was asking proof of Menifee's death. So we don't actually have proof of who actually killed Menifee. We have proof of who killed Menifee, which is different. It's more just to fix things in the present day rather than to actually tell us the truth, which I still would like to know, because that may be important. But after this, maybe we'll have all we need to break through Kristoff's mind? Or maybe that doesn't happen just yet. Maybe Apollo needs to do that. Who really killed Menifee Gremory? Well, not Zack, but Zack! Take that! I believe I have the answer to your prayers right here. Zack Gremory wrote one more thing before passing on. This is a confession! In which he admits to the killing of Menifee Gremory. See? All according to your plan. I am a magician by trade. Deception is my life's work. I fool the audience, give them a fleeting dream. Yet, it seems the tables have turned. Now I am the audience, believing in the deceptions I have wrought upon myself. Zack wrote this right in front of me, after I explained your situation to him. Alakazoo! Oh my god! Oh, that's so funny. I love that.
Unlock successful.
Menifee Gremory, let's chat, partner. You do know that this confession is nothing but lies. Yes, it's my opinion that Zack Gremory killed no one, okay? At least Valent knows that. Then you must be thinking the truth is a simple matter of elimination. Two received instructions to kill, but if one is innocent, then the one who remains is guilty. That would be the logical conclusion, yes. So he vanished to protect me, his partner. It's a stirring tale, 'tis true. Did you shoot Menifee Gremory in the forehead? If I had, and I told you, what would you do? Run to the police, perchance? Do as you will. There is nothing left from me now. It is true, after all. I have little talent. I needed my mentor Menifee's repertoire. It was as if a little demon grabbed a hold of me. I knew it. So Valent Gremory did kill the great Menifee. So sorry, Mr. Wright. But it was not I who shot my mentor. What? Yeah, I don't think that's what it was getting at there. But if it wasn't you, then who was it? There wasn't another disciple, was there? Another disciple? Such as, I don't know, Knack and Talent Gremory, maybe? Oh. Well, if Knack and Talent is supposed to rhyme with Zack and Valent, then maybe it's Zack and Valent. I think it's Valent. I've been saying Valent the whole game. Oh dear. Alright, I'll start saying Valent. I'll try anyways. Your wild fantasies couldn't be further from the truth. Only Zack and Valent received those threatening letters. But there was another. One more person could have fired that pistol that night. I had some idea it couldn't just be those two. I don't suppose you figured it out by now. If it wasn't Zack or Valent who shot Menifee, then it had to be the only other person at the scene, which means... Wait, you don't mean he shot himself? Yes, the great Menifee Gremory himself. Suicide. So Menifee Gremory committed suicide. You find it hard to believe? And to be honest, I hadn't even imagined it as a possibility, considering where the guns were landed up and everything. When I arrived that night, the old man was still alive. He appeared to be asleep. I could not shoot him. But when I turned and made to leave the room, the old man called out to me. So you spoke with Menifee Gremory? Yes, and this is why I knew what he had done. And if he transferred the rights to his repertoire to my partner, Zach Gremory, not me. I see. I guess that's why you were upset with him? Then I guess I owe you an apology. I always thought you were the one who did it. You owe me no apology. Huh? My crime was, in a way, more serious than that of murder. What? Your crime? Is Valant Gremory confessing something to me? What could be more serious than murder? Valant's crime. You see, I knew that 2 letters had been sent. There are no secrets between partners. It was easy to find out. That was when I understood Menifee's plan. He wanted to die by one of your hands. Also, just as a side note, you said you have no talent, but you're doing pretty well at you did well at the Lemire Wars concert show, although I guess that was long after Menifee's time. Anyways, little did I expect it had anything to do with the rights to his repertoire. That was when I heard it. The little demon whispering inside my heart. The demon. Let me confess, I had intended to shoot Menifee, and I planned on framing my partner for the crime. What? That night, I prepared something before going to Menifee's hospital room, which was IV fluid, of course. I had seen it on an earlier visit. If Zach did not shoot, I would do the deed. Then I would use the IV liquid to place the murder on his hands. That was my plan, and it kind of happened that way, didn't it? But you didn't shoot him. I could not. The demon in my heart fled when the moment came. But then Menifee called me back. I am sorry, Valant. I am giving my magic to Zach, not you. You still lack the draw he has. Please, help him if you can. I left the room, and then I stopped. The shock of what I had just been told consumed me. That is when I heard that fateful gunshot. Menifee Gremory killing himself. Then the demon awoke anew within me. Zach killed him. He was the one. Frame him, and the magic will be yours. Okay, I can see that went down. How did the gun end up on the table, though? Okay. Thanks, game. I altered the scene of his suicide. I took the pistol from his hand, wiped off the prints. Then I used the syringe to add IV liquid I brought. So in the end, things happened pretty much as planned. Menifee died, and you framed Zach for his murder. As planned, indeed. Of course, the outcome was somewhat different than I had anticipated. Well, what do you think? Do you believe my story? Can it be believed, truly? That was 7 years ago. I don't know what to believe. But, yes? I'm glad I heard it from you, Mr. Valant. Thank you. It is I who should be thanking you, Mr. Wright. Only when I had lost everything could I make my decision. You're going to turn yourself in? My partner may have vanished, but not so my guilt. And as my guilt stays, all else begins to leave me. My friends, my performance rights, my magic. I've had enough of vanishing acts. I understand. I thought my life was ruled by a dead man. But I find I was wrong. For Zach Gremory was alive. Well, not anymore. And now, it occurs to me, what if he was not the only one who survived? What do you mean? You see, now that I think about it, I realize that we never saw proof of her demise. We never saw her body. Her? Talassa? Really? After shooting her? The mind races and the mouth flaps on. My apologies, forget this matter. I can only hope that the day will come when I again meet my partner, Zach Gremory. Then, I shall apologize for my terrible mistake. I am glad we had this chance to talk. Thank you. No problem. Valant. Zach Gremory, Shady Smith. Whichever name you prefer, he is no longer with us. This is so weird. I mean, to learn, because Phoenix knew some stuff that Zach had done and concealed a bit of it from Trucy, but then he was saying he couldn't lie to Trucy ever, and that she would usually see through it. Maybe he was being exaggerating anyways. But also, this is going to be kind of brutal for Trucy to learn that Uncle Valant and Zach neither had their hands entirely clean, nor Menifee for that matter. Talassa was really the only one of her relatives or family friends or whatever you want to call it that seems to be more or less innocent all the way through. Not that they don't all deserve forgiveness or whatever, but the truth revealed in that trial was only a sliver. The impenetrable darkness that remained has taken another life. I knew what I have to do to push back the darkness for good, and it would involve paying that man a visit. Kristoff or Apollo? I guess Kristoff. Right, well, maybe we're allowed to break through those things now. I mean, we don't have anywhere else left to go, so let's get it going. Sorry, sir. Prisoner Kristoff Gavin is currently occupied. I see. Do you know when he'll be finished? Well, could you go find out? Certainly, sir. Please wait here a moment. My apologies to the guard, but there's something I need to see. Ooh. Oh, I have to check out this envelope, do I? I'm doing this to sneak around the room. There it is. The yellow envelope. And the sender is Drew Misham. I was right. Right, he was talking about a yellow envelope in the courtroom, wasn't he?
When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. It was a yellow envelope. I heard it was left at the crime scene.
This is the last letter that Drew Misham wrote. And there's something I need to do. The last thing I need to do, in fact. Here goes. Let's see if this atroquinine spray finds anything. Ooh, interesting. Oh, on the stamp movie. No. Oh, wait, yep. Yes, big time yes. That's the stamp that was sent. Now we can prove all about that stamp being sent, and it all comes together, don't it? So this was Drew Misham's messenger of death. It was this stamp, all right, no mistaking it. And his last letter was sent to Kristoff Gavin. The interview request came like you said it would, and they're looking into the case. I swear on my life I won't tell them about you, so please release the spell you put on my daughter. I'll write later with a report. Drew Misham. Gotcha. Letter from Misham added to the court record. Finally. Decisive evidence. What's this? A burglar. In jail. Sorry. Gavin. I didn't know you moonlighted in larceny, right? Gavin, there's something I have to ask you. Can I steal your stuff? The answer is no. My apologies, but there's not much I care to discuss. Vera Misham hasn't received her verdict yet. You follow me, Gavin? No, I can't hear. There are no known survivors of atroquinine poisoning, but it never hurts to hope. Okay, I'll be leaving now then. Right. Wait. Yeah, Gavin? Would you mind leaving that letter? It's private. Oh, sorry. Forgot I had it. Many thanks. I don't think I did forget I had it. So I'm not gonna get anything about your... I'm not gonna get anything about your Cyclops then. Why did it zoom out from the badge on the top of my beanie? Alright, well, it's not my beanie anymore. It's back to third person. We've now seen all the clues in this case. Clues I gathered over 7 long years. Now, it is time. Every story has an ending. We've come to the final chapter, the final trial. Find the truth. You're the only ones who can. So I guess he's talking to Apollo and Trucy there, but he referred to Apollo in the third person once or twice. Well, it's time for day 3 trial. I bet this is going to be the end of it. There's not going to be any more investigation out of this, I reckon. Which means we're coming up on the end of this game! So exciting! We can start Dual Destinies after, which is going to be interesting because it's going to be playing as Phoenix and Apollo, I assume, because Dual Destinies, which would be so cool. I wonder if we'll be able to like swap between them or whatever. Anyways. Oh, wow. This was wild. A lot of things we learned. Okay, so Apollo actually was Trucy's brother. Holy crap. I was blah, like my mind just exploded from that. That is just all over. But like my mind was already exploded enough by the whole flashback sequence and everything that like this hit like less shockingly than all that. But that's interesting because their banter is kind of more. It is very siblingly. I found. It makes me wonder though. He said he was going to tell them all on time, but somehow I kind of doubt that Phoenix will tell Apollo and Trucy about their relationship because I don't think he wants to like make it weird. Hey Apollo, you're my son. Let's go fishing. No, that would just be awkward. And what do you think? Do you think he'll tell them, or how much do you think he will tell them? In fact, do you think he'll just tell them all they need to know about the case, or do you think he'll tell them about Apollo's mother being Talassa and all that? I wonder, because maybe they just don't need to know all that stuff. Because Apollo hasn't really been concerned with learning the truth about his own past so far, really. Or we don't even really know if he doesn't know his mother or whatever. It doesn't seem all that tremendously important to him. It might become important to him once if Phoenix tells him, but maybe not. Who knows? Anyways, all that and more, we'll get back into this trial sequence. Ooh, I'm excited. And there's not even a part 1, part 2 of this. This is just going to be one thing, I think. Which unfortunately means we only have 1 health bar for it. Alright, well, thank you very much for coming around. Hopefully I'll see you around. Admiral's going to be out of here. Peace.
Nice.
All right, so that there, I reckon there's probably a bean we can plant somewhere around here that would get us up to that. In fact, we may as well do that now, even though we're not going to be getting the heart piece just yet. Oh, there it is.
Whack.
All right, we have to actually put the bean. This is the first bean we planted, and then in the future times it'll be, nope, show it to me.